everybody? It's GGB and co-host Poppers, and today we're going to be talking about college basketball upset of the day, Friday edition. I nailed my Thursday pick, which means I'm at 3.5 points, y'all, after only picking 3 days, which is pretty freaking amazing if you ask moi. I'm a pretty amazing upset picker. Anyways, it's just been a really nice week. Since Monday to Thursday, an upset of a ranked team every week. Let's start over on the week, shall we? On Monday, we had only 2 ranked games, really. And honestly, everyone expected if there was going to be an upset, it was going to be Kansas was going to beat Baylor. It was the other game, St. John's, a team that's at the bottom of the Big East, upset UConn, who was second in the Big East at that time. Insanity. Okay, so on Tuesday, we had some pretty big upsets happen as well. Purdue upset number 15 Ohio State to take the 4th spot in the Big Ten. We had Florida absolutely dominate a Tennessee team that was supposed to win by 6.5 points. So, some crazy stuff happened on Tuesday. Now, Wednesday was exciting as well. We had Georgia Tech upset number 20 Clemson, and the one I was more interested in, Providence upset number 11 Creighton. Now let's go over what happened yesterday. There were only 2 games yesterday, and honestly, I didn't hold high hopes for either of them. But Indiana was able to upset number 4 Iowa. I'll say that again. Unranked Indiana upset number 4 Iowa. So you're wondering how that changed the Big Ten at all? It's the Big Ten. Not a lot happened, if I'm going to be absolutely honest. Everybody stayed in the spots they were originally. Well, except for Penn State moved past Nebraska today. So why does this matter? Iowa was upset by Indiana. Now this puts Indiana in a great spot. They win in a couple of days. They just need to keep on winning, and that puts them in a great spot, right? They're same spot as Minnesota. The only reason they're behind Minnesota is because of the overall record, with Minnesota sitting at 11-4 record and Indiana at 9-6, right? But they have a great Iowa win on their resume, right? They're only about half a game behind Ohio State. So the real question is, can Indiana get in the top half of the Big Ten? I don't think they can win the Big Ten, but I think there's a serious chance they finish in the top 5. They're doing some great basketball things out there. So it was a great win for Indiana State, right behind Minnesota, tailgating them, really. So Iowa loss really gave a game of separation for Michigan. So they can mess up today and still be in first place, right? If Iowa had won, they needed to win today, right? They don't really need to win today, which is why I got to pick up against them, because it's the only upset of the day. But let's talk. Now, what really is absolutely blowing my freaking mind away is what's going on at the 2 seed. The number 2 spot in the Big Ten. Normally, you look at the conference record, but Iowa and Wisconsin are both at 6-2, right? Then you look at the overall record. 12-3. Both of them were 12-3. So then the real question is, have they played? And they have not played. So I've looked at a lot of different spots, and a lot of different ones have Iowa at 2, Wisconsin at 3, Wisconsin at 2, Iowa at 3. So I honestly don't know who's 2 and 3 right now in the Big Ten. So that's what the Indiana win helped out Wisconsin a significant amount. On the other hand, the Indiana win kind of hurt teams like Minnesota and Ohio State. But let's go over what can happen today. So, at 6 o'clock, we have number 7 Michigan traveling to Purdue. So, Michigan sitting at 12-1, took their loss last Saturday to Minnesota, an absolute devastating loss, a pretty huge upset if I'm going to be talking about it, but also a devastating loss for that squad, a team that was really hoping to go undefeated. Got absolutely crushed by the Golden Gophers, who've proven to be giant killers this year with a win over Iowa and a win over Michigan. Both top 10 teams right now. So, by the way, Minnesota's an underrated team, in my opinion. They're traveling to 11-5 Purdue. Now, Purdue's a team that's also been flying under the radar this year. If you look at the Big Ten, you have in the top 3 spots Michigan, Iowa, Wisconsin. They're all top 10 teams that they all deserve to be, right? But then you have Purdue, who's sitting at the 4 spot right now in the Big Ten. But teams underneath them like Illinois, Ohio State, Minnesota, they're all ranked. They're all ranked right now. In Purdue, they have a pretty good 11-5 record. They're 4th in the Big Ten. I think they should be ranked. I believe they're a good basketball team. I don't understand why they're not, if I'm going to be honest. But I think there's a serious chance for an upset here. I really hope so. 5 straight days with an upset would be absolutely sick. It'd be awesome. Plus, there's Saturday. There's a huge chance of an upset on Saturday with as many games going on as there are. Insanity. We could go a full week with every day having an upset. Just imagine that. It would be so beautiful. It would be so nice. So, the real question is, can Purdue do it? It's on FS1, by the way, if you want to watch it. So, right now, Michigan leads the Big Ten in rebounding with margin at +9 per game, right? So, they're doing a great job of rebounding the basketball. So what would happen with a win or a loss for each of these teams? So let's say Michigan wins. They move to 8-1 in conference. They really hold on to that top spot among the Big Ten, right? A Purdue loss would send them down below Illinois, so it would really just drop a 1 spot to the 5 spot. But let's be honest, Purdue has some very high aspirations this year. With a win, Purdue cannot pass with Wisconsin with a win today. So you just got to keep winning Purdue. Hopefully Wisconsin and Iowa start losing some if you really want to win this Big Ten thing. On the other hand, Michigan right now, with a Michigan loss, it would move to 7-2. Again, with a Purdue win, nothing changes in the Big Ten, right? Michigan still sits atop the conference with 7-2, and Purdue still sits at the 4th spot at 7-3, right? But it would be pretty crazy, right? Because it would put Iowa and Wisconsin within shooting range. And honestly, it would put Purdue within range as well. A 7-2 record with Purdue sitting at 7-3, right? Only half a game out of first place. Imagine that for the Boilermakers, a team that wasn't even supposed to do that well this year. Matt Painter's doing a great job with his crew. So, the only thing that really changes if in either of the scenarios is if Purdue loses, they drop a spot. So not a whole lot at stake, but Purdue has really only a little to lose and everything to gain with this win. Imagine if you have a win against Michigan on your resume. I think they also have a win against a pretty good... they have a win against Michigan State. Again, Michigan State used to be ranked at the time. Not ranked anymore, but I don't know. I think this would be a pretty huge win for Matt Painter and his squad. I think it's possible. I think Purdue's playing some very good basketball so far. This will be the biggest test they've had so far. Played Penn State on Saturday, so not a huge test there. So the big question is, can they get it done against a team like Michigan? I think they can. I think they remind me a lot of that Minnesota team that beat them on Saturday. But hey everybody, this is GGB Coles Pepper saying adios amigos and go Boilermakers.